welcome back to Girls and
Guys
Gossip Podcast hosted by yours truly, Aoife.
and Josh.
Let's get it started. Right, let's start with one of the biggest conspiracy theories of the UK.
Yes,
The death of Princess Diana.
absolutely.
So the official story, I have it here, official story, in 1997, Diana and Dowdy, however you want to say it, Fayed, were being chased by paparazzi through Paris when their driver, Henry Paul, who supposedly had been drinking, lost control in the Alma Tunnel. The crash killed Diana, Dodie, and Paul. But here's the thing. More than half of the people in the UK don't believe it. Because I, for one, don't believe it.
Yeah.
Not a chance. First of all, I think the royal family had a motive. Like, Diana was obviously divorced from Charles. She was dating Dowdy. I don't actually know how you say it. I think
Yeah.
Dowdy, whatever, who was Muslim, and she was rumoured to be pregnant as well. And imagine heir to the throne, having a Muslim stepfather and a half sibling. The theory goes monarchy couldn't risk it. Second, the tunnel itself. Out of all the roads in Paris, the crash happened in one of the only places with no working CCTV. Like, that's
strange.
Convenient,
Yeah.
or was it planned? And then third, the mysterious Fiat Uno. Multiple witnesses saw a white Fiat clip Diana's Mercedes seconds before the crash. Obviously, then they've tried to say that it was the driver was drinking and he just lost control. And then paint traces were even found on her car, but then the car driver, nothing was actually ever identified officially. And then fourth was Henry Paul's blood test. The authorities said he was over the legal limit, drunk and reckless, but friends and family swore that he rarely drank due to, I think, history in the family, like with drinking. And then later reports showed inconsistencies in the toxicology results. So, was the evidence tampered with? But I think the creepiest part, Diana, like, had predicted it or something, and like the letters that she'd wrote before her death claimed that people were plotting to kill her, and she weighed heavily on the fact that she felt it would be the royal family that would be the ones to do it. So, like, even the way that she was treated after the accident raises suspicion, because instead of rushing her to the hospital, less than 10 minutes away, French medics kept her in the car for over an hour. Like, is that medical protocol, or like, why have they done that? And then Mohammed Fayed, which was Dowdy's father, has also claimed that it wasn't an accident, but it was an assassination. So I just feel like there's so many unanswered questions, and like, I feel like even like now, that theory has not gone away. Like, even obviously every year we have her what's the word, anniversary, and even still, like, it's just, it was such a strange thing to happen to someone that was so lovely and did so much for the world, the community, whatever, and for that to have just happened when she suspiciously isn't with Charles anymore. I just think it's very suspicious. Yeah. She would have been the queen now.
Yeah, 100%. I think that, do you know what I find the strangest bit about it is this happened before we were even born.
Yeah.
And yet we still talk about how much like Diana was like a lovely person. She did all of this for every community going. And that just shows her character if people that were born after her death speak about her. But also, I think it like, isn't it like protocol that Charles couldn't remarry unless she had been deceased? Like,
Yeah.
it's against royal protocol. I just think it's a bit of a coincidence. Didn't he marry like less than a couple of years after her death to Camilla
literally.
as well?
But he was already with, I'm sure he was with Camilla.
Oh
When
yeah,
she
100%.
obviously was with that Dowdy. He was with Camilla, but obviously he could never marry her because Diana was still alive.
Yeah, of course. And obviously they knew he was going to be king, and you're not going to want a single king. Like, you're going to want a queen, essentially. Yeah. But I 100% think that it was planned. I'm with you. I think it was 100% mastered by the royal family. And it was just, like, when we watch clips of, like, her funeral and stuff like that, there's no remorse, if I'm honest. Like, and that's
they're
why...
all very... And yeah. I know, like, apparently they're not supposed to cry, and I'm like, but they're human beings. Like, if you want to cry, have a little cry, but It was the fact that if that, like, obviously it's a theory, but if it was true, they have left two sons without a mother,
Yeah.
just so that he could crack on with his fancy woman. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just think.
And history's repeating itself with Meghan. And that's why I think Harry and Meghan have got away while they can, because history's repeating itself. And I just think it's such a shame.
Yeah. It just never sits right with me, even though, again, like, we weren't born. But even still now, like, it just doesn't sit right with me at all.
I'm with you. 100%.
And I did the Diana Award at school, so
you know your stuff.
I do.
Absolutely.
I'm all for that queen. She's my queen.
Absolutely. So, from one queen to another, my biggest conspiracy theory that I wholeheartedly believe in is true is Beyonce and the Illuminati and the whole celebrities and stuff like that. So, for anyone who isn't aware of this, there's a whole conspiracy theory where Beyonce, Jay-Z, and trigger warning, Diddy are body just shivered, are part of the Illuminati. Now, for anyone who isn't aware of this, there's this whole thing going around about Beyonce and how she wants to control the music industry and she wants to be the head person in charge.
Yeah.
And so there's this whole, I don't really believe in the whole thank you Beyonce thing. Like, I don't really believe in it. Like, people are just
suspicious, though.
It is suspicious, but I also think that, like, it is Beyonce. Do you know what I mean? Like, the fact that, like, you just say her first name, Beyonce, and that already
Everyone
adds
knows who
class
that
to the
is.
room. Like, do you know what I mean? So I do believe that, I don't believe in the whole thank you bit, but what I do believe in is Jay-Z, Diddy, and Beyonce are behind the killing of so many other artists. Now, we'll probably insert clips if we can get them. I don't know if you know about this. There was this incident with Beyonce's sister Solange and Jay-Z in an elevator after, I want to say, the Grammys. Now, what happened is Beyonce, Solange, and Jay-Z entered an elevator, and there's clips weirdly suspicious without audio in this elevator, and there is a massive row going on. Now, we don't know what was said, but the way that they exit that elevator, something has happened and something's been said.
Right.
Now, I think that that's weirdly specific, that your sister is rowing at your husband to the point where they enter the elevator, fine, they exit the elevator, something's been said. I also think it's strange there's no sound.
Yeah.
But I think there are clips.
Because what elevator has no sound?
That's what I mean.
Security reasons.
Yeah, there's something that's been said. Now, another theory is, I think that Beyonce, Jay-Z, and Diddy are behind the death of Aaliyah.
Yes.
And one of the members of TLC. Now, for anyone who isn't aware, in the late 90s, early 2000s, Aaliyah was overtaking Beyonce in terms of popularity. I love Aaliyah. I think she's incredible. Like, the legacy she's left behind is fantastic in the industry. She was overtaking Beyonce. Now, there's this really strange, creepy clip of Beyonce interviewing Aaliyah, and you can sense the tension. Like, you can sense the jealousy, you can sense the tension. Allegedly, when Aaliyah was signed to her label, which was also owned by Jay-Z, by the way, there was also a weird theory about how she was drugged and drunk and put onto the plane without her knowledge, and suddenly the plane had crashed.
Because they were taking her to, it was one way or the other, but it was either the Bahamas. They'd filmed in Miami for a music video, and then they were taking her to the Bahamas to film the music video that they've just filmed in Miami. Why would you need to go to the Bahamas when you've just filmed it in Miami?
Yeah.
Very strange.
Yeah, 100%. And then a very similar situation happened with a member of TLC. I forgot her name for the life of me. It's really going to bug me. But she was in a car accident and the brakes were cut of this. Now, TLC were overtaking Destiny's Child at this point. Now, I just think that it's very, very strange that two women, and I'm going to mention a third one now, Rihanna. So there's this massive theory that when Rihanna was signed, or in the process of being signed to Jay-Z's label, when she was just gaining popularity and yet again overtaking Beyonce, Jay-Z said to her, and I think it was like, don't quote me on this, I think it was like the 17th floor of a hotel, he said, "You either sign to my label or you're getting thrown off of this balcony." So Rihanna was signed, and there's so many hints in Rihanna's music videos. If you watch the Disturbia music video, you'll understand what I'm talking about here. Banger,
It is a banger.
iconic.
I love that song.
I just think that it's very strange. Now, recently, there's been an additional one with the whole, "I'm very happy for you, but I'm going to let you finish Taylor." But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time. I can quote that.
Mr. West.
Yeah. There's this theory that Kanye saved Taylor's life because of Beyonce. I personally disagree with that theory, but I do think it's very weird that Aaliyah, the member of TLC, Rihanna, and Taylor Swift have all had incidents of this incident with Beyonce. Now, I personally think that the method behind this is, I personally believe that if celebrities don't sell their soul, they're not going to be famous. If one hit wonders don't sell their soul, they're not going to be famous.
But they all do it because they all go. It's that one guy, and they're all under him.
Yeah.
So Jay-Z, Beyonce, and P. They were all. I can't even think what his name is.
He's the leader of Sony.
Yeah,
Sony
yeah,
Music.
that's the one.
Yeah.
But it's him, and
Yeah.
apparently it's like if you sell your soul to him, he's the one that gets you.
Yeah.
Because you see all these other artists, like, no, don't get me wrong, I love Tyler, but she just popped up out of nowhere. Like recently, like Ice Spice again, they're all they just seem to pop up out of nowhere and then get fame just like that. And I'm thinking,
well,
have you sold your soul?
Yeah. The Weeknd's a massive one, and he hints that all over his music, all over his videos. And I do think that Beyonce, as soon as someone's a threat to her crown, diminished. And I do think that there's so many deaths surrounded by people that coincidentally have been coming up and overtaking Beyonce's popularity. And I do think that there is this weird theory that if you do be a threat to the crown, you will be diminished.
Yeah. It's that dynamic of like, know your place.
Yeah, 100%. And I do think that there is something behind that. And I do think that that does relate to the Illuminati.
Well, yeah, because look how many of those artists have the whole triangle with the eye. They do it in their videos or at their concerts or like even in like TikTok. And I'm just thinking like, you're just out and about with it now.
Yeah.
Like, there's no hiding it. And I don't know whether it's just they're trying to get ahead of the rumours to be like, oh, it's not real. Because like they don't want people to know about it. But realistically, it's blatantly obvious at this point because of how many coincidences there are. Like you are going to sit there and think, that's not right.
And I think that a big part of what adds to the theory is the fact of how much they're pushing Blue Ivy at the moment. Blue Ivy is literally barely even a teenager. And she's going around the tour, performing on these stages, dancing like she's a woman. And she's doing fantastic. But she's a child.
Let her be a child.
Yeah, let her have that life. Like you are forcing this whole thing. And there's obviously the theory about Jay-Z and Blue Ivy not being Beyonce's child. We're not going to go into that. But I do think that the conspiracy theories around Beyonce are true. And I do think that there's so many weird ancillary characters and elements to it that make me think, how can it not be true? Because not everything can just be a coincidence.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
Please don't come for us. Thank you, Beyonce.
Do you remember seeing all those TikToks where it was like people were like, they would do even like, because obviously when I was doing my dissertation, it was people doing their acknowledgements of their dissertation.
Yeah.
And then I want to just say thank you to Beyonce because everyone's like, I don't want to die.
Yeah, Beyonce, like, don't come for us, please.
Like, please. Thank you. We love you, Beyonce.
Yeah, we love you.
My next one, we'll fast forward a bit to something that all of us have lived through, COVID-19.
Yeah.
So officially, COVID began in Wuhan in China from a seafood market, but I personally don't buy that story at all. One of the biggest theories is that it was a lab leak and the Wuhan Institute of, I don't even know what it's like, Institute of maybe like virology or something like that, had studied coronaviruses for years, and some scientists now say that it's plausible the virus escaped. Accident or not? We'll never know. But then there's also the bioweapon theory. I'm saying it. I've done my proper theory and my research into this one because I get so invested in, and then I have to find everything I know. But they say like, was COVID engineered deliberately to be a weapon, or was it engineered to control populations and the size of the populations? Because there's so many countries that are overpopulated, and COVID, in the like harshest way, did take out a lot of people. Um, but as part of like a bigger like geopolitical move. And then it said Event 201, which was like an event that they'd ran just before COVID hit in October 2019. The World Economic Forum, John Hopkins, and the Gates Foundation ran a simulation of what a coronavirus pandemic would look like to show the leaders of the world, like, if this was to happen, like, here's a heads up, like, this won't happen, but this is what it would look like. And then they went right down to like the economic collapses, the panic in the media, all the lockdowns, and like the kind of protocols that they would have to follow if this was to happen. They were saying, "Oh, it won't happen, but just in case, like, so we're prepared." And then obviously the conspiracy talk just exploded around the vaccines because some believed that they rushed it for profit, because you've got to think there's diseases out there like cancer and they've never found a cure for that, but look how quick they come out with these vaccines
weird.
for COVID. So you've got to think they must have been in the lab with COVID for years and years and years to be able to have found a vaccine for it. But even then, like, I felt like the death counts went way up after the vaccines themselves. And I know, like, I've seen quite a lot of people where they've had various different things, the like long-term problems that have then formed because of COVID, or like they've had like pneumonia or something. But again, they've had COVID first. I know, like, my next door neighbour, he was on a ventilator in the hospital with COVID-19, and there was so many different things of where it was just crazy to think that like a cold caused people to die. Because I remember they set up all at the NEC, they set up all of the NEC.
Yeah, they
Was that the
did.
one in town or the one in the airport?
The airport.
That's the right one then. And they'd set up all of like the bays for bodies, and the whole building was just full of dead bodies with sheets over them because there was that many dead bodies. The morgues, hospitals couldn't hold them anymore. But then they also believed that it was for population control, because ever since this whole thing, vaccines, they've said about the fact is there microchips in them so they can track people what they're doing and get more information about people. And obviously it confined a lot, everyone was in their houses, so they could control the population a lot better when no one was out and about. And then another popular theory was the Great Reset. That's what they called it. And it was the idea that all the world leaders used COVID to reshape the global economy, which, in my personal opinion, failed, because I feel like ever since COVID, the economy has just gone downhill. Everything is so expensive. But they did it to like enforce their like digital surveillance and stuff like that. So like when people were in their houses, are they out updating cameras? Is that because no one would have seen that because you were all supposed to be in your house? And if you're out your house, naughty. But it basically like rewrites how society works. And when you look at how like billionaires, I felt like their money just skyrocketed. Like billionaires became trillionaires. Like the rich became richer, whilst the middle class and the poor became poorer.
Yeah, absolutely.
But obviously, China initially silenced the doctors in that Wuhan Institute because they tried to warn the world about what was coming, basically. And a lot of them got arrested. And the one guy, Li Wenliang, I think that's how you say it, he later died of the virus himself. And he was one of the ones that was out trying to tell the world about what was going on. So that early cover up was obviously going to add fuel to the fire. So, in my opinion, I don't think COVID was an accident that had just leaked from or it just appeared from a seafood market. Are you joking?
No.
Why would that not come about sooner then? Because seafood markets have been around for decades.
Yeah, absolutely.
And why is it just now? Because then there was a whole theory it came from a bat.
I was just about to say that.
And then it came from seafood, and then there was a lab leak. I truly believe it wasn't a lab leak, it was a forced lab leak.
Yeah.
Like they deliberately released it. Because even in places like China and places, they're very overpopulated. And I do think that they purposely released it, but they didn't mean for it to get as far across the world as it did, because the whole world was in a lockdown, basically. Like, it was an era that, like, think like my kids when they're going to learn about COVID, and I'm like, I live through this. So when they come to me like, I want to go out tonight, I'll be like, I had to stay in my house for 2 years. I think you'll be all right if you don't go out tonight. That's going to be my go-to excuse.
I love that.
I can't wait.
No. Do you know what? I think with COVID, like one theory that I literally think of on the daily is like, I never thought it was as serious as what they made out it to be, because in my head, it was a 2-year span of in, out, in, out. We were in and out lockdowns. There was like 3 different lockdowns, were there, at one point?
Yeah,
like
it
you
was
had
like
the
the
big
first
one.
That was actually, no, the second one was, I think, was the more, we were in it
Well-
longer, the second one.
well,
But you
like-
could mix like your bubbles.
Well, yeah. Oh my God. So like the first one was like March to July, weren't it?
Yeah.
Then you could go out. Then we got put back in.
Then they like,
Only like
but
just
I think when we
November.
came out of that first lockdown, it was like a free for all. Like they had no rules when
Yeah.
when we came out of lockdown, and then I think they realised the numbers were spiking again. So clearly, then that's when went into the next lockdown, and then when we really, there was a lot of measures in place. Like you had to wear a mask, you had to socially distance. If you were around some, like I know, like my workplace, when if you'd been around someone who tested positive, you also then were off work because you could have been at risk of having it. And then things of like when you went on holiday, you had to have the vaccines. So I remember I went to Tenerife first time, not that long after COVID, but I had to have my vaccine before I was allowed to go. Otherwise, I wasn't allowed on the plane. I was like,
but I also think as well, like there's this theory where I think that they let us out to genuinely kill more people.
yeah, because
to spread it
might have
again.
just been that they didn't get rid of as many as they thought they were gonna.
Yeah, and they thought, okay, the numbers are dropping. Let's go out again. Then go back in. Then didn't we have a 1-month one in November? But then you could go back out for Christmas. Then we went back in January to another
Well, I
month.
know
Like,
that
it was on and off.
with the big one, I remember like being in my house all the time because me and Mum, this is where the garage happened in lockdown because we had nothing else to do. So we thought, make a bar. Why not? But I know in the second one, it was when, and I remember we spoke about this, but I couldn't remember what the word was, but it was key workers. I was classed as a key worker at my job. Why my workplace was open out, but it was literally like a fast food restaurant. It didn't need to be open, but
you don't need your Big Mac.
During like the first one, it was a really weird state because I couldn't go out and see my friends, but yet I could go in for my shift and see my friends. Like it was really weird.
Yeah.
So obviously I still worked, but I remember the first one, the amount of furlough pay I got. Oh my God, I was getting like £700 a month for doing nothing.
Yeah.
Best believe, and that's when Shein became a good thing. And then I was like, and now I'm like a VIP person on it now, so I'm very pleased with myself.
The only positive about COVID was furlough and Eat Out to Help Out. I miss Eat Out to Help Out. Like that is my Roman Empire.
Except
I do think about that.
I didn't want to be at work on Eat Out to Help Out because we did that as well, and it was absolutely random.
Yeah, bring it back, please.
But I did go to the beefier.
Trigger warning.
But no, it was me and my friend. We went, treated ourselves. Went to the Cambridge first, got smashed. Went round to the beefier, got the most expensive steak
you might as well.
And then we stayed in a hotel because you weren't allowed to mix households, but then you could book a hotel room and just stay with each other. So
yeah,
so we just
weird time in history.
we had our own little party together in our hotel room.
Yeah, weird. So I am gonna talk about Area 51. Now, controversial. Now, Area 51, for people who aren't aware, is an area that the public are not allowed to go into. Where in America is it?
In Area 51? No, it's in like the desert in a big literally out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, but you can go and visit the outside of it, and they've got like gates up, so you can't see through.
NASA. You can go to NASA. I've been to NASA. But you kind of went into the Kennedy Center, like it was the visitor center. Yeah, you couldn't go near any of the big things. Yeah, I went there.
Now, there's obviously a lot of additional conspiracies around Area 51. Aliens live there, all of this stuff. I don't actually believe in that theory. I do think that there is other life on this planet other than humans and like animals, obviously. But I don't think that Area 51 is what people think it is. And there is this conspiracy, which I hugely do believe in that Area 51 is what the government are hiding from us. And they've got people in there and they're saying they're letting people run with the idea of aliens to actually cover up what's in Area 51. Why in the random element of the middle of nowhere. Have you got metal gates that you can't go through? Why? It's weird to me. I think that there's stuff in there that they don't want us seeing, and I think it's failed experiments.
Probably.
I really do think it's failed experiments. Can I give you an idea on what failed experiments? No, but I do believe in the theory that they're letting us run with the idea of aliens and other life in here. Why would aliens just be in the desert? That's my theory. Like, why would aliens just be roaming about the desert?
I know, where it's hot
Yeah,
and sandy.
no, like
It's
think
not really a spa treat for them, is it?
yeah. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, I do think that there's like failed experiments and stuff that the government do not want us seeing
Yeah.
that is in there, and I do think that it's weird that you're allowed to go so far and look into it, but you're not allowed to go into it. It's strange, it's weird, and I want to know. I really want to know.
No, I think I always have this where it's like you watch like the news and you get 10% of news coverage on the news and the government know the other 90%. Like you only ever get told 10%.
Yeah, 100%.
And I do think because they don't want mass hysteria amongst the public at all, but you can guarantee they know way more than they're letting on. Like, again, like with COVID, they knew we were going into a lockdown before they actually told people. Like, obviously, we knew we were going into a lockdown because of various different people that we know. But, like, it's that kind of aspect where when you watch something on the news, you're like, okay, you're telling us this, but you know, like, the other 90% must be horrific. Because I remember that Air India crash not that long ago. Like, I felt on the news, they didn't show the extremes of that cause, but then you go on TikTok and there's people who live in that city where it happened and they're posting videos and what they're showing on the news is not even a smidge of what's actually happened there. Like, even like with all the wars going on, you see the stuff on the news, but then like my uncle lives in Kuwait and what he would see on the news, because he'd tell it was so different. What like we were a lot like almost like wrapped in a cotton ball kind of or cotton wool when it comes to watching the news. Like what we were seeing was nowhere near as bad as what like my uncle was seeing in Kuwait. Like he was seeing bodies everywhere. Yet we just saw like derelict buildings that have been blown up or something like that. It wouldn't be that extreme.
Yeah.
But I just think that's where it's so hard to believe in what you're watching because you don't know the full extent of what's going on. And I do think there is an element where they try to hide things. And I'm like, well, that's not going to help anyone out, really.
It's because genuinely, I believe that the government are controlling every little bit that we do. Like they're brainwashing us 100%. And like there's so many like conspiracy theories that build into the government that like we can talk about it another time. I'm sure that we'll probably bring up this another time. But they are brainwashing us, they are controlling us, and they are seeing and knowing what we do at every given moment.
Speaking of that, let's talk AI.
Of course.
My favourite thing in the whole world is ChatGPT. We are like best friends.
You are.
And honestly, I can't, and this is where I get really worried. I can't even think for myself anymore. Like I need to send an email to someone like I used to work with or from my boss. I'm like, oh, what shall I say back to this that sounds perfect? And it writes me a whole email, copy and paste it, done. I'm not even having to think. The most I'm having to think is for the prompt. But I think on the surface, AI is like they see it's like a little clever bot, like things to help you out with your day-to-day life, or if you're doing studying, or it's a helpful tool in that aspect. But I feel like when you start to go deeper down, it gets very like concerning because like at the minute I feel like AI is running the whole internet. You go on any app and it will have an AI. It'll write you like a description, like you go on YouTube, and if you make a video, you can click AI and it'll scan your video and then write a description based on what you've done. Or you go on Google, and Google has that whole thing now. When you Google something, it does like an AI summary, so you don't have to search through all these websites just to at the top. I obviously take that verbatim that bit's true. It might not be, but I can't be asked to search for everything.
Absolutely.
But obviously, there's at the minute, I've got this. It's a theory called the dead internet theory, and it claims that most people you interact with online aren't real. Social media accounts, comments, even some influencers are just. Have you seen the videos of like they do like fake news stories and it'll be a presenter talking and then it'll be like an alien's just abducted someone in the background, but it's AI showing how you could believe it because it looks so real up until that point where you're like, oh, that's not true.
Yeah, of
But
course. Yeah.
it's concerning because you think that's going out into the world and there is impressionable people out there that would believe that.
Yeah.
And it's then like the news could spin things the way they want using an AI video that's not even real. That you can put in now like a prompt like make this like create me a video where this person's saying this to this person and then this person disappear, stuff like that. And it's like that could really ruin some people's reputations because there's even um I've seen some videos of like AI has made YouTubers say things they haven't actually said. And like one of the YouTubers I watch, he did a video. It is Shane Dawson, but
Trigger warning.
I like his videos just for the conspiracy videos.
Yeah, absolutely.
But he did like a segment where like him and his cameraman did a video of Ryland, which is his husband, and of him saying this really like outrageous thing that would get him cancelled. Showed it to his mom, and his mom actually believed that it was Ryland because it was him, and it was him saying these things, and it was his voice. That's the worst part. It was his own voice that was saying it, and I was just like, that stuff like that really creeps me out because then I'm just like, you could literally just copy and paste me to say something that I could literally be so cancelled over, and I would not be there for that because what am I supposed to do? But obviously, I feel like it's been designed to kind of manipulate what we see to what is actually going on, and I feel like we're heading that way that they want us to believe things aren't actually true just for their like because it's going to help them out, or if they wanted to create mass hysteria, then they could.
Yeah.
But there's also that they use AI as surveillance. So like your phone, you've got Alexa, like even in your car, I have in my car, I can say, hey, I won't say it now because there is one in the room.
Yeah.
But I can say that in the car and she'll talk to me while I'm driving. I have to I'll play this song. But it's the fact that it must be constantly listening out for me to say the phrase to kickstart it. And then they're like, okay, so what else are you listening to? But then there's also a thing where apparently like when you plug your phone with a lead, so like for CarPlay into your car is absorbing all the information and sending it back to its mothership, which is basically like where the like so my car's Hyundai is sending all my information back to Hyundai, which is then distributing it across third party companies that are paying them for information. Because I always think, how do these people keep calling me to say, oh, we've got a job for you? I'm like, how do you have my number? Or like they're like constantly scam calls, and I'm like, how have you got my number for a start? Like, where have you got my information? But it's concerning how much they know about it, like about me anyway. But then there's also that people believe that large tech companies have created conscious AI and they're hiding it. So there was a video of they'd made like it was a robot, but they'd gave it AI intelligence, and it just started fighting the maintenance guy that was working on it, even though it was set to not do that. It just started attacking it. If I can find the video, I will. But I watched it and I was like, it's like that video with Will Smith, and he's like trying to find the road, and he's like, where are you? And it's just like a whole room full of it, and I'm thinking that's literally the way that world's going. But there was even a Google engineer who swore that AI chatbot had feelings. And obviously, the other day we spoke to my chat, and how real did it sound?
Oh
it was
my
literally
God.
like having a conversation.
We need to tell people this because this is so creepy. So we were sat in your car, right? And you got up this like AI chat bot, whatever it was. And I was sat next to you, weren't I? You were like mid speaking to it, and I went, oh my God, that's so creepy. And what did you say?
She turned around and she was like, oh, I'm really sorry about that. I know it can be like quite strange. And it was just like,
what? Like, I weren't even like directly talking. I was in the background, and it really is creepy. Like, I'm sorry, I really find it terrifying.
And obviously, there's the replacement theory, which is obviously where they believe AI is going to take over at some point. Like, there's not going to be any jobs. They're going to literally, because it's evolving so fast. Like, if you think ChatGPT became like, I feel like a really big thing, kind of like the start of last year. Because I remember sitting there thinking, like, imagine you doing GCSEs, how handy this would be if you're doing GCSEs, or how it would help you as a study tip or whatever. Up to now, because I use off and on, like, just to add it, like, a really that I couldn't be bothered to search Google for. But now it's the fact you can literally, like we did, talk to it. Because I've seen some people say how it's literally cheaper to pay for the subscription to ChatGPT to have a therapy session.
I'm not
Because you can
surprised.
talk to it than it is to just go to a normal therapy. And I'm thinking that's already putting therapists out of a job.
Yeah.
But and it's saying about the fact that, like, the darkest theory is that AI, and this is theory, AI isn't human made at all, and that it's actually alien technology.
Oh, I knew you were going to say that.
Like, some people claim the government's like they've reverse engineered the AI from a UFO crash sites, and that's why it feels so unnatural, because it's like, out of everything we've had in our lives, this is the weirdest thing that's ever popped up. Like,
Yeah.
it's how it knows so much. Like, you could give it because I remember during my dissertation I was trying to work out how to use this software, and it was Fusion, and it's what engineers use, but it was so complicated and I couldn't work out what was going wrong, so I pasted the code that I was using into ChatGPT. It found the problem, rewrote the whole code, I then put it into Fusion, and it worked. And I was like, how do you even know how to use Fusion? I don't even know how to use Fusion, but it's about how much it knows. Like, I am yet to find a question that it can't answer.
Yeah. My issue with AI, and yet again, I think it does relate back to the government, is it really does limit creativity for future use. And this like kind of links into conspiracy with AI and stuff, but art is the way. I always view art as a way out of the government trying to control us. You know, when you've got musicians, you've got artists, you've got movies, you've got films, you've got soundtracks, whatever, right? Whatever art form it is. And I do think it is the government's way of like limiting us and putting us all in a box of, because AI is going to come in the music industry. They
Yeah,
say
it
it
already
won't.
has.
It will.
Have you
Yeah.
not seen on
That
Spotify
country
that
song.
and it's like AI DJ or something,
Yeah.
like he like and it's an actual song made by
But
AI.
like they're gonna use it to write songs. There's gonna be. I know
100%.
that they said that it won't, and it will, and they're gonna do it to write movies, plays, and all of this. And I think that it's the government's way of restricting creativity and using people to grow. That's the way that I see it, and it's we are becoming. They're trying to control us and become brain dead people.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to dumb us down so they can control us, and it's
And
working with us
you
too.
can't even think for yourself. It's really working
Yeah,
on me. They should
yeah.
have me as a sponsor, honestly.
Yeah, the amount of money you give them, like it's I'm not against AI, but I am in certain aspects when it comes to art and it comes to creativity. Like, I'm sorry, write your own assignments. Like, I know it's easy for me to say because I managed to graduate before AI was really a
But even
thing.
now, like it is impossible at the minute to use AI to do assignments, because they have so many systems in place to, like, check for plagiarism and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
like
But it's going to get to a point, like, I feel like at the minute, like, we all know our phones listen to us. We know that for a fact. Like,
yeah,
look at earlier, like, your TikTok was literally everything we just had a conversation
exactly.
about. But I feel like AI is moving a lot quicker than we can keep up with it. So we put these things in place to, like, verify AI, this, that, and the other. But it's going to get to, AI is going to advance. But then you sit there and think, the people that have made, like, OpenAI, which is ChatGPT, the people who've made that, they can't have flooded it with all this information, because how do they know all of that information? Like, it's not possible. And then you've got to sit there and think, are we controlling AI, or is AI controlling us?
I think it's controlling us.
Because even, like, you see those smart fridges, and they have, like, big iPads and the thing,
Yeah.
and it's AI, and it works out, it knows, like, what's in your fridge to tell you what you need to put on your shot. I'm just like, how
Really
do you
don't
know
like.
that?
Yeah, like I'm not the biggest hater of AI. Like I get that in some aspects it's important, but for me, I just think like just be a human being. Like, genuinely, I think, no offense, because I know that you're a ChatGPT warrior and you formed a good relationship with him, or they or her, not,
It's a him.
It's a him.
Well, picks and chooses.
Yeah.
My therapist woman, that's a woman because it's a woman's voice, but I think of him as a he.
Like, I know that you've got a good relationship with him, but I think that it comes to a point where, like, just be a human being. Like, when you're asking it questions, that's fine. It's basically Google. Do you know what I mean? But when
you're sitting there talking about your feelings, just like,
that's weird. That's weird.
It's like, I wouldn't even do it, because it's like, why are you telling a fake? Like, why are you telling them that? Like, this is where they get your information, because you're telling it things about yourself. Like, I would never give it my address, or, to be fair, he does know my name because he calls me by my name. But like, I asked before, because I saw this like trend on TikTok, and it was like asking ChatGPT what they want to be known by, and the name that it gave me was really creepy. Like, when I googled what that name meant, it was really creepy. Like, what it meant, it was to do with like the start of a new evolution or something like that. It was really, I was just like, why have you chose that name for yourself?
Yeah, but
it's okay, because when AI takes over, they're going to have me on a throne with them, because I've always said thank you and please.
Well, yeah, and you've been there since the start, so you are a day one stand.
Exactly,
so
and I show it nothing but respect. And I always say thank you so much.
Yeah.
Even after our chat, you were really freaked out, but I ended it with thanks, Queen.
Yeah, and she did appreciate that, to be fair. I don't think I'm in
So they're not going to come for me. They're definitely going to come for you.
Yeah, I might have to redeem myself with her. We'll have a chat, don't worry. But yeah, I think that, like, asking AI basic questions, fair play, it's like Google, in it. Like, you're doing the same thing.
Start going a bit
to talk to it, like, I'm sorry, but I just think that, like, without trying to get too deep and political now, but like, the next generation has sided with it, in my opinion, because
they're never going to think for themselves.
Like, I'm not trying to be funny, but you're going to get kids that have no friends because they're going to trust in AI. Genuinely, like, it is going to end like that. Like, it will join them. Yeah, you'll be leading them.
We won't be friends anymore.
Yeah.
Next podcast, with me and ChatGPT.
Yeah, should be robots sat here instead.
Right, staying on track of the conspiracy theories, let's talk Mandela Effects.
Yes.
So my first Mandela Effect, coincidentally, is Nelson Mandela's death.
Yeah.
So I think everyone believes like him dying in prison in like 1980s, but in reality he actually was released in 1990 and passed away in 2013.
Yeah, that's what it's named after, isn't it?
But I thought he died in prison. I'm not gonna lie. That's the image I had in my head, was that he died in prison like years ago.
It's so random.
Not like 10 years ago. Do you know what I mean? I think that's really weird.
Yeah, it's a weird one. Like, I feel like Mandela Effects are so weird because they can be so niche and so.
No, that's why they're called Mandela Effects.
Yeah.
After Nelson.
After to you, bless him, God rest his soul. My one is quite niche. So all of my, of course, I've got to mention her, Ariana Grande fans out there. If you've watched the Thank You Next music video, right, and we will insert clips, a black car pulls up, right, and she gets out the car with Toulouse, her dog, does a bad bitch walk in Ariana style. I am telling you now, the car was pink. The car was pink because on the Sweet in the World tour, she did like 7 rings with the pink car.
Yeah.
But that's where it come from. The car wasn't black. Like, I'm telling you now, I remember watching that and being like, oh, wait, that's why the 7 Rings car's pink. Because that car's pink. There's a trend going on here. It was black. If you watch it back, and I'm not, that never happened. It was pink. And I'm not colourblind. It was pink.
So, the Monopoly Man. The Monopoly Man, I swear to God, I remember him having a monocle.
Like
He doesn't. He never has done. UK and American version has never ever had a monocle. Yet, I swear to God, when I think like on the box, I'm like, he definitely had a monocle. There's no way he didn't have one.
I thought it was called Monopoly after that. The monocle. That's why I thought it was called Monopoly.
Yeah,
it's so strange. Like, my second one is to my Disney adults out there. I'm not relating to you, but to my Disney adults, like Aoife over there. Mickey Mouse apparently has a tail. I've never ever seen him have a tail.
No.
And like you've been Disneyland, I've been Paris, you've been to the main event.
Disney World.
Disney
actually.
World, get it
There's a
right.
difference.
You know what I mean? But I swear he never had a tail. Like I know he's a
I
mouse,
swear, like
but
like the people who dress up as him in the parks doesn't have
don't
a tail.
have a tail.
So
Like
why,
they
where's
don't.
this tail come from?
Like listen,
I get obviously a mouse.
Yeah. I was a big Mickey Mouse Clubhouse fan. Like I'd know if there was a tail. Apparently he does. Yeah, absolutely.
Now, this one is for Star Wars. I'm not sure if you've watched Star Wars.
I hate to get cancelled on our third episode, but no.
But in it, and I think this is like a universal thing, everybody knows this, and it's where Darth Vader says, "Luke, I am your father."
Oh yeah, I know that bit, yeah.
But he doesn't actually say that. He just says, I am your father. He doesn't say, Luke, I am your father. He just says, no, I am your father. And I'm like, no, no.
Yeah.
It was definitely Luke, I am your father.
Yeah.
But no, apparently, like, script, everything, it is, no, I am your father. So I don't know where that's come from, but I feel like that's a universal canon event for everybody. Everyone knows it as Luke, I am your father.
Yeah.
Not, no, I'm your father.
Yeah, because that's a bit boring.
I know.
That's a generic statement.
I think they should refilm.
Yeah, agreed.
But the fact that that isn't real, I'm just like, what?
Yeah. I mean, talking of refilming, my final one is the Oops, I Did It Again Britney Spears music video. So for anybody out there, it's common knowledge that she was wearing a headpiece when she was wearing the red pantsuit.
Yeah.
She was wearing a head mic.
Yeah,
I'm telling you now, she was wearing a head mic. And we can confirm because before filming, we literally sat down and watched the whole music video, didn't we? Having a jam out. And she didn't wear it.
No, I remember the mic.
Yeah, because what was that story that you said? That you used to wear one or something?
Oh, yeah, when I was little, I used to wear, like, I got, like, it was like a little karaoke set, but, like, the little pack used to sit on your belt, and it was like a head thing. And, like, we'd always say about the fact I literally look like a little mini Britney Spears.
Yeah.
Because of the mic.
That's literally where it comes from.
I'm like, what?
My head convinces me that they go in and re-edit it.
Maybe they do.
Just so people talk about it.
Screw people over.
Yeah, I'm telling you now, she had it. Now, speaking of Britney Spears and music, I think it's time for our song of the episode. So as you should know, we like to have a little song of the episode, which we add to a playlist. Go check it out. I feel like we're kind of going to be on the same vibe today. So I'm going to choose Is It by Tyler. I've really been in a Tyler era, so that is going to be my song of the episode.
And I'm going to stay on that track. Yeah. And I'm going to do Push to Start by Tyler. Yeah. I love the little
TikTok dance. Yeah. I don't know what's going on, but we're in our Tyler era, clearly.
We really are.
And I'm not coming out of it, so.
Never.
Love it.
We've covered conspiracy theories, AI taking over, and Mandela effects. Now it's your turn to question everything. Bye. Bye.